I helped this writer get an exclusive contract on Goodnovel and Letterlux. I also helped this writer, is a newbie writer, she got an exclusive contract on Letterlux. I also helped this one get an exclusive contract on Letterlux. Now, you're probably clicking this video because you've been getting messages like this from Goodnovel. This is their rejection template. Sorry I used that word, but this video will help you end that story of being rejected on Goodnovel or on Letterlux. This will be a life-changing video for you, so you have to stick to the end, because at the end of this video I'll be giving you my free guide. I'll be giving you a prompt that will help you get accepted into the platform. I'll also be trashing 10 tips you need to be incorporating in your writing so that you can get accepted immediately. If you're just stopping by on my YouTube channel, please do well to hit on the red subscribe button and turn on post notifications, because this will be the last bus stop for your rejection on those writing platforms. So the first tip on my list, remember I told you I'll be giving you 10 tips you wouldn't want to miss. Now for the first tip on my list, let me grab my notepad. I wrote it down so I don't make mistakes. Okay, now the first thing on my list is compelling conflict. Compelling conflict. Now what does this mean? Now you have to give us a compelling conflict between your lead characters and your supporting characters. First of all, do you know we have external and internal conflict? Good. Now I'll take my time to break those things down in the description. I don't want this video to be too long, but I'll just explain them for you. Now, a story, every story is about two things: a male lead and a female lead, a protagonist and an antagonist. So now make sure your story is centered with either on the male lead or on the female lead. These two people should be the bearers of your story. The main focus should be on them, then other side supporting characters should now come in. You cannot tell me that you want to apply for a contract on Goodnovel or Letterlux, and you have to write your first 5 keywords before applying, and in that your first 5 keywords you're putting so many side characters, and you want to get a contract. There should be a compelling character and conflict, a compelling conflict between a male lead and a female lead. Even if you want to introduce other side characters to push the main character's goals, to push the main characters forward, you have to make sure you're introducing it in later chapters, not even in your first 5 keywords, or in maybe chapter 4 5. The main goal and the main storyline should be centered on the male lead and the female lead. Alright, now tip number 2, you want to grab a popcorn, you want to grab your pen, because it's about to get spicy. Don't forget a free guide is waiting for you at the end of this video. Alright, tip number 2, let me look at my notepad. Suspense and tons of twists. Suspense and tons of twists. This should not be overlooked. This should not be overlooked. Whenever you're writing your first 5 keywords, you want to make sure that you are giving us a lot of suspense, something that's going to keep us glued to your story, something that's going to keep us glued and interested to read more. Do you get? So you must make sure that there is suspense in your story and you're adding a lot of twists and turns. Yeah, plot twist. You need to know your onion there. Now this will keep your readers at the edge of their seats, wanting to unlock more chapters and read on. Do you get? So make sure your first 5 keywords is talked with some twists and some suspense. In the later tips I'll also be showing you how to write it, so don't worry. Okay, tip number 3. I know you're ready for this. Are you ready for this? Now let's go there. Tip number 3 is there should be a very good character development. In ghostwriting we call it character arc. Being able for your character to transform from one point in life or from one part of your story. Remember, in your story we have the beginning, the middle and the end. So let's say at the start of your story the character was a wicked person, or that character was a villain, or maybe an emotional being, or maybe a weak female lead. Make sure at the end of, or during the beginning, at the beginning or at the middle, you make sure that character is able to grow and will change over time. Human beings loves to what? One of the qualities of human beings are adaptability. So you find out that when you find yourself in an environment, you find out that with time you get to adjust to that environment. If you watch all these movies, you find out that most of the characters get to change due to the external conflicts that are outside, that is in the outside world, challenging them from getting their happily ever after, or from challenging them from getting their goal or achieving their goal on the long run. So there are always internal conflict and external conflict. All these things challenge your character to grow and adapt over time. So make sure you're incorporating that in your story. Tip number 4, I guess you don't know this one. Now what is this one? There should be a good plot development and pacing. This is something nobody's talking about, and I'm going to give you a free example at the end of this video, so you have to stick to the end. Now, good plot, what do I mean by a good plot and pacing? Let me tell you the secret. If you want Goodnovel or Letterlux to accept your first 5 keywords, make sure that your first 5 keywords is fast paced. Like fast paced, so many things should be happening between your male lead and your female lead. Let the focus be on your male lead and your female lead. Don't give us sub characters yet. It should be on your male lead and your female lead. Start the chapter 1 with your female lead. Do you get? So now make sure that it is fast paced. What do I mean by fast paced? I will give you an example at the end of this video. Tip number 5. I see many writers overlook this. Like, you don't want to fall into those categories. Make sure your work is well edited. Your editing. This is something you don't want to overlook. 5 keywords is too small for you to just rush and submit. Give it your time. Give it your best. Use Grammarly to edit your work. Please and please. It is a free version for Grammarly. Use Grammarly to edit your work. I'll be dropping links to Grammarly. If you don't have it on your phone or on your, you can even download the app and use it as your keyboard. You understand, so that you can, for easy accessibility. So that is that. Make sure your work is properly edited. I cannot overemphasize on this. Okay. Tip number 6. You have to grab a popcorn. You have to grab your popcorn now, because it's about to get spicy. See that contract? You must get it. You must get it. Claim it, accept it, and you will see yourself shine. I'm telling you the truth. Tip number 6. Focus on trend. Focus on trend. I cannot say this. I cannot overemphasize on this. Focus on what's trending. When you want to write for a platform, this is what I do. If you want to write for a new platform, you have never written for that platform before, you want to write for the platform, it's good for you to sit back, go to the platform, read 1 or 2 books on the platform. Know what the platform wants. Every platform has a reader base. You know what? You cannot use the approach. Let me give you an example. You cannot use the approach you use for LinkedIn to come and use it for TikTok. You be playing there. Do you get me? LinkedIn is a professional app. Now everybody there is professional, so you cannot go and start creating content that is meant for LinkedIn on TikTok. Nobody will answer you on TikTok, because TikTok is for cruise. The same thing goes for platforms. Each writing platform has a reader base. So go there, read books that are already there, copy it. Nobody say you should copy word for word. Copy their storyline, tweak it in your own way, but make sure it all pans out to the way it's going to end in all those stories on their platform, because that's what their readers are used to. Do you get me? So hop on trends. I will tell you some tropes that are trending. Revenge is a good trend. Rebet, weak to strong female lead. Headstrong / cold male lead. Running away while pregnant is another popular trope too. Rejection, this one is so popular. And betrayal. So these tropes are popular in all these writing platforms, Letterlux and Goodnovel. Now the next thing on my list is tip number 7. Tip number 7. Permit me to grab some. Sorry about that. Tip number 7. You don't want to miss this one. Now, tip number 7. Be cliche and generic. I don't know how to say this. Be cliche and generic. Please keep your professionalism aside. Yeah, you heard me right. If you want to be professional, go and do it in your department or in your school or your college. Don't bring it to Goodnovel or Letterlux. Keep your professionalism aside. head on the platform, read books that are already doing well on the platform, and give and replicate those books. Be cliche, be generic. A boy is dark. Don't come and tell us that a boy is fair. Follow the trend. Follow what other people are used to. Don't come and tell us that you invented something new. Okay, this is a new style of writing. I feel good novel. If you accept my contract, this is a new style of writing I got as an inspiration. They will give you rejection, my brother. You go chop rejection. So that is just the thing. Be cliche and generic. Okay, emphasis on this will be laid as we progress in the video. Okay, tip number 8. Tip number 8. What's that? I think they just sent me tip number 9. Sorry about that. Okay, tip number 8. Your opening chapter hook. Don't play with it. Hook us. Hook us. H-O-O-K. Hook. From your chapter 1, we should be able to stand one place and finish up chapter 5. And even in a situation whereby you want to go out, but you're watching this movie, this is now moving, and you just don't want to go out again because there's someone about to kill the female lead that you're so interested in. You want to know what will happen. So keep your readers hooked from your very chapter 1. Keep your editors that will be reviewing your book hooked. Let them open their eyes like a frog. Wow, what will happen next? Keep them hooked. Give them a shocker. You need to know something that can shock you. Do it in your chapter 1. Don't wait for chapter 5. You will shock us. Shock us in chapter 1. Let it be fast paced. Do you get me? Now, the next one is tip number 9. I told you I'll give you 10 tips, but I'm going to add it 2, which is going to be a bonus tip. So you have to stick to the end of this video. And remember, all the 3 things and all the prompts and everything, I'll be dropping it in the link below, the description, so do well to check it out. And if you're getting value till this point, do well to hit on the red subscribe button. This is the only way you can assist me for giving you such a valuable content for free. Do you get me? Many people tell you to come and pay for ghostwriting course, come and pay for course, but I'm giving you all this for free. All right. Now, tip number 9. Tip number 9. More dialogue than narration. I see many newbies fall for this. More dialogues than narrations. I'm going to take my time to explain this one. Please, your first 5 keywords should be filled with more dialogues. Stop the narrations. This is what I mean. Show, don't tell. You must have heard so many people tell you this thing, but you don't even know what it is. I'm going to define what showing and telling mean. Let me start with telling. Telling means directly stating information or emotions, often using narrative, summary, or exposition. Now imagine, take notes, narrative, summary, or exposition. You're narrating when you're telling. Let me define showing. Showing, this involves conveying information or emotions through action, dialogues, or sensory details. Align the reader to infer and interpret. The other one, which is telling, you are exposing everything for us. You're not allowing the readers to do any job. You're doing everything. Why for showing? You're allowing us to what? Infer and interpret by using features, sensory features, our 5 senses to describe some things. So that is showing. You're showing it. You're not just telling us. So you're showing. We are getting more involved when you show rather than tell. Do you get? Now I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. Let me show you an example of what I mean by showing, not telling. With example, first of all, let me show you an example of dialogue tab. Many people don't know what dialogue tab is. Dialogue tab are words used to attribute dialogue to a speaker. Example: said or asked. Let's say your example. Let me give an example now. I'm going to the store, she said. Instead of saying, most people in their story, you find out that when you're reading their story is filled with she said, she asked, he replied, she said. Those things are good, but if it's too much in your story, it makes your reader get bored. Do you get? Irrespective of the POV you're using, if it's first person POV, second person POV, third person POV, just make sure that it is not too much in your story. Instead of you saying she said, she asked, you can use things like she whispered, she smiled, she mumbled, she crumbled, she mourned, something like that. Do you get? Instead of boring, if you find out that you use she said, he said in the first two paragraphs, don't use it in the third paragraph again. It's gonna bore your readers, and if your readers leave, you won't make money from your book. Okay. Now, the next thing again I want to show is example of showing and telling. Let me explain it with example. Remember I said showing, you are what, using what, sense, the five sense organs to what, explain something for us in details. Do you get? So you're showing, you're not just telling us, you're giving us an assignment to interfere and what, interpret what you're about, what you are trying to convey. Do you get? Now let me show you an example. An example of showing, not telling. Now, okay, let me give you an example. He was angry. This is telling. He was angry. Now this is showing. Let me give you an example of showing. His face reddened and he clenched his fist, growing. Get out of my sight. Now, these two things, which one is more catchy? No, answer for yourself. Imagine your story is filled with telling. You're using only the telling techniques. She was angry, he was happy, she smiled, she laughed, she got a heartbreak, she got cheated on, she did this, she did that. Those things are telling. It will not engage your readers. Do you get? But instead, if you try to put it like this, instead of you saying he was angry, you can say his face reddened and he clenched his fist. Show us how he was angry. Don't just tell us he was angry. What happened? Was his face, did he frown his face? Did he try to punch the wall? What happened? Did he react? Did he say get out of here? Show us, make us involved in your story. Don't just explain, narrate. Show us what happened. Do you get me? So that is it. Another example is the room was dark and scary. That is telling. You can say it and your readers will be like, it's a normal thing for a room to be dark and scary. What's there? This reader doesn't know, this author doesn't know what he's writing. They'll just pass through your book. But if you put it like this, the flickering candle cast an eerie shadow on the wall. The readers will be like, wow. Emotionally, you're creeping into their hearts. Horror is beginning to come in. Do you get now? You now continue like this. You say, and the creaking floorbox made her skin crawl. Jesus. Do you see it's relatable? You're showing it how the room was scary. Now horror is going to set in because now you've showed it in details. Do you get? Using five sense organs, using objects around. So do not overlook showing rather than telling. Please and please. And dialogue tags. Please and please do not overlook it. This is one of the reasons you're not getting your contract. Okay? Tip number what? Please remind me in the comment section. I've forgotten. Tip number 10. Okay, tip number 10. I've remembered. Tip number 10. Have personalities for each character. Have personalities for each character. When I found out this particular tip, I was like, many newbie writers are missing it here. Yeah, they are missing it here. I say yes, they are missing it here. Now I'm going to take my time to explain this. Have personalities for each character. Now let me show you what I mean. How many of you have watched a movie that even after watching that movie you cannot forget the characters in that movie? Because there's a unique way this character talks that is different from this way this character talk. There's a unique way this character reacts to things that is different from this way this character reacts to things. Let's say you have your male lead, Aurora, and your female lead, Marvin. The way Marvin is going to react to things will be different from the way Aurora is going to react to things. Maybe let's say you're writing a story about 4 ladies chasing one guy, and those 4 ladies should have distinct ways of reacting to things. They should have different temperaments. One should be choleric, one should be a sanguine, one should be phlegmatic. Do you get? If maybe one reacts to things by shouting, the other one should maybe be calm, so that your readers can take note of all those attributes to remember your characters. Even if they forget their name, they'll be like, I know one that is very wicked among those girls that are chasing over that guy. I know one that is a bit saucy. I know one that is a bit calm. So give personalities to different characters in your story, so your readers can fall in love with your characters. Your readers can remember your characters. Your readers can put themselves in their shoes. Do you get me? So don't overlook that. Please and please, if you want to get a contract, you need to follow all these tips I'm giving you. Then I've come to the end of the 10 tips. Remember I said I'll give you 2 bonus tips. I'm going to give you 2 bonus tips. So bonus tip 1. Bonus tip 1, make your first 5 keywords fast paced. I think I said this during the course of this video. Okay, make your first 5 keyword fast paced. I'm going to give you an example. Now grab your pen, because this is a practical class. Let me give you an example. Please and please, after watching this video, go to your Google Docs, write this particular prompt I am giving you. Don't go and create your own. I told you, keep your professionalism aside. If you don't want to get a contract on Goodnovel or Letterlux, get out of here. But keep your professionalism aside. Write according to this prompt I'm to call for you right now. You will get a contract. I'm telling you the truth. Do you get me? Now, write according to this prompt. Now, I will start it, and make sure if you want to get signed under me and join my community on WhatsApp, the link is down in the description box. I'll also pin it to the comments. You also see the link to sign up on Letterlux, so I can be your acquisition editor and monitor your book. Do you get me? So that is that. I'm also open to review your first 5 keywords if that's okay by you. Do you get? Details will be in the description box below. Now, example of a prompt that has given me and my students what exclusive contract on Goodnovel and Letterlux. I'm gonna list it out now. It's just one prompt. Make your first 5 keyword fast paced. Grab your pen. Chapter 1, the one night stand with a CEO. If your story is titled the one night stand with a CEO, please, any title you're giving to your story, once your editor starts reading your chapter 1 should reflect the title of your story. Your story should not be about one night stand. The title is one night stand, and one night stand happened in chapter 4. You are getting a rejection. So if your story is about one night stand, make that one night stand to happen from the first chapter. If it's about divorce, make it to happen from the first chapter. Now let me show you something. Your chapter 1 should be the one night stand with the CEO. Maybe she's a 300 level accountant student, and she went for a party, or she went clubbing in her 300 level, and she met with this CEO. Do you get me? You don't need to tell us when she was talking with her friends, or when they were trying to make preparations to go for the party. Just start your chapter 1 with where she got to the party and met the CEO, and they did their one night stand. Make it fast paced. Don't bore us with she did her makeup, she wore heels. Do you get me? Just go straight to the point. One night stand, chapter 1. Have you taken note of that? She can be studying any 400 level course. Chapter 2, she realizes she's pregnant after the one night stand. Then goes back to tell the CEO she met in the club. Now when she goes back, that should be your chapter 2. Your chapter 2 should be all about that. She goes to the hospital, she realizes she's pregnant, and goes back to tell it to the CEO. That's for chapter 2. Chapter 3, he denied and throws her out of his office before she damages his reputation, because he's a CEO. So obviously when she came to break the news to him, he denied and threw her out of his office. Now, still in that chapter 3, she's scared that her father will know about the pregnancy. Her father is the one sponsoring her in college, so she's scared that her father will know about the pregnancy. Then what happens next? She's scared, but at some point, still in chapter 4, the next chapter, which is chapter 4, her father finds out about the pregnancy. Her father finds out about the pregnancy and told her to abort the pregnancy. You can see how the story is going now. Told her to abort the pregnancy now, or he will make life a living hell for her. One thing led to another. She was back and front. The father kicked her out of the house and made life a living hell for her, for bringing disgrace to her. Now, you can see the struggle that the female lead had. The female lead wanted to make the father proud by coming out as a chartered accountant. You can make your own coming out as a medical doctor. Do you understand me? Something that can not only just talk about sex, but a goal that the female lead has. Do you get? So you can introduce that. I just introduced mine as accountancy. Good. So now, She wasn't able to make her father proud. Instead, she got pregnant, so the father kicked her out. Now, when the father kicked her out, she wanted to commit suicide. You see in chapter 4 now, she wants to commit suicide. You can see how the story is going fast paced. In chapter 4 already, from a one night stand in chapter 1 to getting to tell the CEO he rejected her, to getting to know she was pregnant, going to tell the CEO she was rejected, and kicked out, coming to his father finding out, the sponsor that is sponsoring her in school. Then another thing again is that she wanted to commit suicide. She was frustrated. Then somebody comes into the picture in chapter 4, which is now the third character. The third character will be a young guy that will now come into the picture to salvage the situation. Maybe the day she wanted to commit suicide, the young man comes into the picture and saves her. Now what happens here is that, remember, we still have chapter 5. We have not written chapter 5, so hold on. What happens here is that your readers will get emotional about the female lead. Your readers will be like, wow, this female lead had a goal to make the father proud by being a chartered accountant. Wow, but at the end of the day, she got into a one-night stand with the CEO. And again, the CEO rejected her. Why are people so wicked? So now you can see relatability has come in. Your readers will find your story relatable and stick to the end because they are already falling and liking the character, which is the female lead. They want to see her achieve her goal. But this whole pregnancy issue has made her cut her dreams short. So your readers will be like, feel for her. They will feel for her and want to see things change. Do you get? By so doing, they will stick to your story. Now, that's another thing you need to take note of. The next thing again in chapter 5, the man helps her, and it's after 1 year. Fast forward to 1 year later. Please don't keep it in chapter 10. Put it in chapter 6, in chapter 5. Fast forward to 1 year later, she becomes a CEO of a rich company and a wife to the wealthy man that saved her life from committing suicide. Do you see how the story goes? Now you can now confidently name this story The Reborn of a One-Night Stand, a CEO's Rise. Do you see it now? Do you see it now? I swear to God, if you use this particular prompt, tweak it. As many people that watch this YouTube video, you can use this prompt. You tweak it to your own understanding, but let it be the same. Change the accountancy to maybe any other course, and apply for a contract. They will give you a contract. Come back to this YouTube channel if they don't give you a contract. First of all, you have to join my community because it's by fire by force. They will give you that contract. Trust me. Now, what am I trying to say? Use this prompt. I'll also leave it in the description box below and in a pinned comment. Use it and you will see breakthrough. Tip number 12. Tip number 12. Now we are already rounding up. If you have stayed to this point, what are you waiting for? To click on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up because it's loaded, guys. It's really loaded. Tip number 12. This is a bonus tip and it's the last. End with a cliffhanger. I cannot overemphasize on this. You must have heard this a billion times, but many people don't know how to do it. End with a cliffhanger. What's a cliffhanger? Something that will make your readers turn to read your next chapter. A page turner. Have you ever been watching a movie and the movie ends, and where that movie end was a very hot scene? Maybe something was about to happen, and all of a sudden they end the movie. Movie producers, script writers, ghostwriters, they understand this technique. That is why they end it at that particular point, so that you subscribe, or so that you get invested and come back to watch the next episode. Z-Word, they understood this technique. That is why if you watch any Z-Word series, you find out that no matter how long it is, they try to end with a cliffhanger. So if that program is starting by 7 p.m, you'll definitely tune into Z-Word to continue that program because you want to know what will happen to that character. Oh, that character this episode ended when they want to kill the character. I need to find out if they later killed that character. That is a cliffhanger. So make sure your stories are ending with a cliffhanger. Your chapter 1 should end with a cliffhanger. Your chapter 2 should end with a cliffhanger. Your chapter 3. This is what will make your readers keep turning your chapters, turning your book chapter by chapter to read on, because you understand it. You know your onion. Do you get me? How can you end with a cliffhanger? By stopping where there is a big revelation. When it's as if something wants to come to pass, or there's a big revelation that wants to be introduced, just stop there. End that chapter there. When you want to introduce a new villain, you can introduce a new villain and stop there. A new discovery too. When you discover something new in a chapter or in a character or in a story, you can stop there. A big revelation, stop there. When something is happening in an event and two characters are about to kill themselves, it raises the tension and stakes, stop there. Do you see how you can end your story well so that your readers will come back to read the next chapter? That is cliffhanger. So you should make sure that you don't miss this in your story. Don't say I forgot. Make sure you end with a cliffhanger, something that will make your readers come back. Now in the prompt I gave you, if you look at chapter 1, after the one night stand, obviously she was drunk. The one night stand, they had a sexual intercourse, and what happened next? Maybe you can end where she got to the hospital and the doctor tosses her a pregnancy report. You can stop there. Do you see it? Now your readers will be like, wow, a pregnancy report already? Then the next chapter you continue. Do you get? So that is just it for cliffhangers. Then we are going to be coming to an end of this. We have come to the end of this video. So if you got value, please click on the red subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make sure all the free things I talked about will be in the description and the link below. Share this video to all those your friends that have faced rejection. It's a 30 minutes video and it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth watching. Do you get me? See you in my next video. Bye.